So we're going to start off with our stream today. Let me hope you're all doing fine. We are going to continue with working on our platform that we've worked on earlier, which is the tour automation platform. Now, this is the platform that we are working on. It's a simple platform where you can be able to do various things, but most importantly, it's a platform that automates all the tour operations that the tour companies really get to do mostly manually. So we are trying to automate each and every functionality, starting from the creation of the itineraries and sending these itineraries to the clients, trying to also automate the process of the emails, how they get to respond to the clients and how they can be able to track that, the costings, the safaris, how they can be able to reserve them, making reservations for various elements for the safaris, how they can be able to track that progress as the safari is in play. So we are trying to automate each and every part of this. If you love the process, or if you want to be a part of this process as we get to develop various apps that are going to help us hit the figure that we've set for ourselves, which is $500,000, mostly from vibe coded apps, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe. We are also working on several mobile apps, and we are looking to launch these mobile apps on the store and effectively track the progress of the earnings that you are going to get from that. So if you love the process, please subscribe. And we are going to continue to work on these elements effectively well. So what we are going to start with, I see that we are still getting this error of missing permissions, but I think it's coming from Firebase. We shall be able to view that. So when it comes to the hosting screens, we are going to refine several things. Currently, when you select a particular itinerary, it becomes easy because most of the elements that we are going to get here, it is linked it is linked very well, so you can be able to look at the various expenses, and also you can make entries to those expenses effectively well. So you can be able to add other expenses, and you can look at the grand total. When you're adding these expenses, the grand total is increasing, which means that this is quite good. So you can name this as fuel, name this maybe lunch. So let's try to add some of these. So let's let's name some of these, and then we can evaluate if our functionalities are set to work very well. So let's just input the figures. So let's save this. So it has been saved, and I want to evaluate this. If you've just joined, we're working on the back end of the tour automation platform that we've been working on earlier. And if you've not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe, so that we can be able to go along and you can follow the process very well. So the trip we are working on, it is this one. So let's look at it. So this has been it has been updated very well. Let me try to add another element here and see if it is recorded.
But my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. The fire starts to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels now.
So let's update this. I want to check here. So it has been populated. We can be able to make changes, which is quite amazing. So we're going to work on other elements. One of the elements that we're going to work on is here. We're going to ensure that we can this card is the cost summary card is editable, that we can be able to refine or make changes and increase or decrease on the markup. But the calculation remains the same. We are also going to work on the resource redistribution card. So let's
check the frequency.
go and make those changes.
Pavement meets the spirit. Ancestral rhythm is the only way I hear it. My posture is a geometry of ancient cedar. Internal climate shifting like a heavy-handed leader. The rain is just a
So we're going to make refinements when it comes to
when the sky gets murky. Gravity is a strategy to test my marrow. Keeping the vision focused in the path narrow. I don't bend for the trend or the gale. My skin is like a scale or a suit of mail.
we're going to make refinements when it comes to the costing screen, and we are going to make refinements to the particular cards. So let's go and look at those cards here, which is a resource redistribution cost summary. So one cost summary card. Yeah, for the cost summary card, we are going to make refinement to ensure that we can be able to edit this card, but particularly the element that we are going to edit, it is the exchange rate has to be editable because sometimes it changes, but you're also going to be able to edit the markup. To edit the markup. So these are the only edits that you are going to make. The rest of the calculations and how this card makes computations to give the results for the total of the trip is the same. We are only going to put logic to be able to make changes to those fields, so that you can be able to either increase on the markup and decrease on the markup, or either make changes to the exchange rate to show you the right kinds of figures. Full stop. So let's look at the other card. This one is the resource redistribution. So let's also make changes to this, which is to resource redistribution. So I want you to look at the resource redistribution card as a senior engineer and look at its various components. So when we make entries, when it comes to the costing of our trip, we need to get feedback about the various components of that we have in the resource distribution to ensure that the percentages that are reflected in this resource redistribution are percentages that are truly relate to those allocations, which are mostly activities, percentages are related to activities, accommodation, transport, fees, and others. So that means you're going to first of all look at the categories that we have, the item categories that we have, and categorize these in to fit into the various components that we have, like the activities, accommodation, transport, and fees. And then you are going to also add another category to that redistribution card, which is called others, which will accommodate other expenses that you get to see that are entered based on the categories that we have. That means you're not making any changes to the categories for the items. We are just viewing them and ensuring that when we enter a certain item, if that category falls around the activity, then it is going to be in this circular bar, it is going to be allocated towards the activity with the right percentage. If it falls under accommodation, then it will be. So you ensure that this information that is coming from the categories is populated under the right categories that we have for our circular element. We are also going to change the look of our circular bar. Before we do that, let's go to Pinterest. Pinterest is going to give us various samples that we can pick from, and we use as a reference image. For the ones who have just joined, we are making refinements to our platform, but mostly we are making back-end refinements. But again, when you look at some of the elements, we left out some little bit of refinements when it comes to the front-end UI. So we are going to just make those as we also make changes to our back end. If you've just joined our stream, please, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe and ensure that each and everything is set up very well. So what we are getting, we are getting some what we want to look at the various circular bars that we have here. And then we can refine our circular bar. Let's rewrite it. Percentage circular chart. So we're getting something like this. So I'm looking at this. Let's save this image. So you're going to use it as a reference image. So I'm trying to look at others and view if they are much more better. But I think the other one was much more better. Let's also get this one. Let's go here, back to our instructions. So I'm contemplating on what to use. I think I'm going to use this one. So I want us to also change the look of the circular bar. I've attached a reference image in terms of the UI of how our circular bar should be designed. It should first of all reflect the percentage for each of these elements that we already have in this chart. But also it should be able to reflect credible information about those various elements based on the information that we'll be getting from what has been entered on the itinerary. Also, you can use various icons outside in terms of explaining the information based on how you get to view that from the reference image or from the example that you are getting. So that means we are changing the backend logic for this card, but we are also refining the UI look or the visual look of this based on the UI image that I've given you. So let's reference the master prompt, which is our standard prompt that we use to restructure each and every instruction. So now you're going to write this instruction and structure it in a detailed implementation plan based on the master prompt structure that we have in our master file that I've referenced. And after you give me that detailed implementation plan, then I'm going to approve it, and then we'll continue to make these refinements on our costing screen. So let's continue with making that refinement. Remember the refinement that we are making. This is what we had that we took as a sample, but again, this is what we have. So we are trying to change the look of this, but also to ensure that these elements compute very well. But also we are making changes to ensure that the markup, we can be able to change the markup here effectively well. So that we can be able to change the markup and the exchange rate, because now this is a fixed exchange rate. So, but we need to be able to maybe if there are variations that have come up, we need to be able to change it. So let's continue to work on this. We have the implementation plan. So let's continue with running this. But before we run it, let's look at it. Let's go. So it has made the implementation plan. This implementation plan needs to be solid. I need you to include each and every element of the instructions that I gave you above in the above request. So I want you to look at the ones that you've missed out in terms of making refinements to the resource redistribution card, and also the instructions for making changes to the cost summary, and ensure that each and every desired change or instruction that I've given above is included in the implementation plan. Make the implementation plan extensive, then I will relook into it, and then we can be able to make those changes. So I want to ensure that each and everything is captured very well, that nothing is left out. So now let's proceed. So let's continue and make these changes, and then we are going to look at them and review them. So basically, this is what we have in terms of the distribution in terms of resource distribution, the changes are being made.
Waiting this up, energy high. All the levels don't change.
So I think the changes were completed. So let's review them.
Burn like fire, no be beams. Everything sets, we dey win. Lift your hands, touch the top. Feel the heat, never stop. Chop life, giant, we don't arrive. Lock drum, make we come alive. Lock drum, jump, make we come alive. Alive, make we come alive. Money talk, we know they cap. Shake way for heart, we dey tap. Best say we move fast. Make this feeling always last. Always last.
So let's go back here, make a little few refinements. Just
Burn like fire, no be beams.
so when it comes to the colors of the resource redistribution card, we need to use solid colors like red, yellow, green, orange. So let's use solid colors for that. We're not going to make any other refinements. We're just going to change the colors of those in the chart. So let's make changes to these colors because other elements have been set up very well. They look okay. And then after that, we are going to continue. I want us to go back to the reservations, and we evaluate them. Evaluate the reservations very well. But before we go to the reservations, what we are going to have is that I want to look at the brand elements that we already have, and if there is any data that is stored locally, I want us to delete that, and we are going to deal with data that is only stored using Firebase. So I'm going to also make that refinement. Actually, it is the refinement that I'm going to make currently before we So let's go to the color codes, and I think we need to So I'm just going to pick these as I give instructions. So let's go here. These colors. So for accommodation, and use, let's go back. Okay. And for transport, use for fees, use, and then for activities, I think that is the last one. Let's use this. So let's make changes to these colors further, and then from there I'm going to remove all the locally stored data, and from there we can make changes. So let's continue. It's at least this one looks good. We've made refinements to it. So now let's go back. Now, given that we've integrated our app using Firebase for most of the back-end functionalities, I want you to ensure that the local so let's go back here. So we're going to ensure that the locally stored information is removed. You're going to remove that so that when we load our app, we are just going to remain with information that we already have in our Firebase that is stored using Firebase Firestore and Firebase Storage. The only thing that you're not going to remove is that when it comes to the images folder that we have in our app, which is the public images folder, you're going to leave those images there. But for the rest of the information that is stored locally, and with the information that is stored locally, I mean you are going to be able to remove because earlier we were using local storage to store some of these elements. So that information that is stored locally, let us remove it. Given that we've configured our app to use Firebase storage and Firebase logic for other functionalities, we just want to view that information populated only being fetched from Firebase.
Deep in the dusty books, names carved in the stone. Found my face in the ledger, just a number on the page. Just a number, blood soaked in the dirt, sweet fruit from the struggle. I'm floating on the truth. Reality starts to shift.
You're going to refine this request and ensure that it is structured according to the master prompt structure that we have, and ensure that you are going to organize it as a senior engineer, and that each and everything is allocated for the information that we are supposed to remove. Mention that the one that we are supposed to maintain it, and ensure that our app fully works after this refinement. So the remove of the information that is stored locally, remember we are not distorting code logic, we are only removing the information that was stored locally, so that we can be able to review the information, only the information that we have that is stored using Firebase. So let's make that change. Currently we have most of these, but they are just stored locally. So we want to just remove them and then be able to make refinements effectively.
is the fire. Burn the lies away. Simple truth, heavy bass. Keep the movement steady. Never forget the source. Roots deep in the mud. Branches touching the sky. Know yourself, feel the way. Knowledge is the way out.
So let's continue. Earlier, we are working on making refinements to ensure that all the information that we have in our app is integrated to our Firebase database. We've set out this app to use Firebase for authentication, but for even storage of the various tour related information that is stored with it when it comes to entering new accommodations, making reservations, evaluations, tracking safaris, and then costing safaris and emails. So all of this information, earlier when we started out with a layout of making sure we input the functionalities and testing these functionalities with the local storage. And then we upgraded it to the use of Firebase to ensure that this information is not stored in our computer, but we are using a very quality architecture when it comes to storage of our information with the use of these products, mostly Firestore for the information and organization of the information, for the storage of images and documents using Firebase storage, and for logging in and signing up using Firebase authentication. So we've set up this Firestore for most of our functionalities. These are our rules that we've set up to allow us to store most of the information in our app, and the authentication also works very well. We are using email for authentication, and currently what we are doing, we are trying to ensure, earlier we had stored some local information on our computer. We want to remove it and refresh our app so that what we get to see is only those entries that have been made that are stored on Firebase, and from there we can be able to sample and make further entries in each of the functionalities, and then we can be able to go further and review and work on the elements that have not yet been worked on. If you love the content, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe and follow along as we go on our journey to create over $500,000 from only Vibe coded apps. So if you love the journey, if you love the process, if you really want to learn more, or if you really want to highlight more on how you get to do this, I believe you can be able to effectively benefit when you subscribe. So thank you as we continue to work on this. I know there is some information that is stored. We are just going to remove that, and then we shall review the process and get to see what is really set out well. Because when you go here and you look at most of the processes, the users that are authenticated, we can be able to view them here in Firestore. If we are making tracking emails, that is also set up. When it comes to costings, they are also set up. When we made changes to the evaluation was also set up very well. So we have it. The itineraries are stored very well. When it comes to the itinerary reservations, they are also stored very well. So we are testing out various functionalities. All what we need to ensure is that each and every information that we have in our app is stored very well. But first of all, we want to remove this locally stored information. Then from there, we shall be able to review what we have. So this is our implementation plan. So let's make these changes and ensure that we can view that information effectively well. And then from there we can review what you're working on. I prefer the use of Firebase, because Firebase is really standard when it comes to their setup of most of the functionalities that you are going to get. But also you also get access to other functionalities like real-time analytics and all others that you can add to your app, which is a whole lot of a solid app that you can set up and be able to track whatever is happening. To me, that is quite standard. So I'm trying to make these refinements and ensure that most of this information is removed and we are using information that is quite the only information that we already have stored, that is going to be standard for us to view other elements that we might have left out in terms of configurations for our back end, and then we shall be able to work on that screen by screen. So it is still making these refinements. So when you look at the elements that we've worked on in terms of the back end, the itineraries are being stored very well. So it is still loading. It is still making the changes. Let's wait for those changes to be effected, then we can review whatever is being worked on. I know there are other people who have recommended other back-end options like convex. Yes, they are good, but for me, I always want to trust when it comes to choice of architecture or choice of tech stack that you're going to use for a particular app. I normally look at the structure of the company itself. So when it comes to Google is a very credible company, and when it comes to longevity purposes, if I'm building something that I'm going to run for a very long time, I always want to look at where this company is going to be in the future, 5 times, rather 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 7 years from now. And I believe Google is a credible company that has been around for a very long time, and I presume it's going to be around for a very long time. So when I'm making choice for where I get to store this information, given that it is mostly clients who are going to use these platforms and how they are going to use this information, you always want to make a choice of a credible company that is doing that. So for me, the options, the most, okay, I can say the better options that I can look at are mostly Google, Firebase, and maybe AWS, which is also quite good. I know there are other good ones like Superbase and Convex, but I use them for demonstration purposes, or maybe if I'm building out apps that are not really going to be used for a very lengthy time. But when it comes to the longevity and how that is going to play in with the success of the app, then I always want to choose a credible company, and that is the reason that's why I made that choice for Google. It's taking some time with these refinements, but we need to wait out and get to view what it has made, and we shall be able to review that effectively well. Let's wait for that to play out, and we can review those changes. So let's continue. What I'm doing is that we earlier started this app with local storage, and what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to change the complete backend to switch to Firebase, because we have just integrated Firebase and we worked on some functionalities, but we were earlier receiving information that was stored with the local storage. So I'm refining that, I'm removing that, and ensuring that the only information that we are going to get or that the app is going to fetch it is information that's coming from Firebase, and then from there we are going to go further and review what we already have. So we are still getting some errors because it's working, but let's wait for it to load fully, then we can review that. For the people who have not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream and support us. When you subscribe, this is one of the things that really gives me accountability to come and effectively continue to do this. I always want to do this and showcase and share what I do. I know there are other people who use different kinds of processes. The approaches to vibe coding are different because the prompts that are being used are different, the processes are different, but I want to showcase how I do it in the simplest way possible, because I'm not a technical person. I'm not someone who is really good when it comes to the technicalities of building various apps, but what I know is that I use vibe coded processes to build these tools. So if you want to really watch the process of how I do it and how I go about each and every process in the most simplest ways, then I believe this is the channel that you must subscribe to, so that in the process you learn, but also in the process I get to learn lots and lots of things from you, but most importantly we get to launch these apps and be able to hit the figure that we've set out for ourselves. I believe vibe coding or agentic vibe coding is the future, because when we use these tools like Google Anti-Gravity, the one I'm using, it's an agentic IDE that gets to understand the context of your app, and then it follows the various instructions that you are giving for each and every task to work with you. It's like you are having a coding assistant a senior coding assistant that you're working with. You have your vision of what you want, how you want it in terms of the functionalities, how you want it in terms of the UI. So you get to give out these instructions, and then you refine what you want with your senior coding agent, which for me is a better practice to do instead of doing things. When I was starting out, we had to mostly do these elements in a manual way, which was quite frustrating for most of us who were not so much experienced in this. But as you go on working with these tools that are even getting much more better by the day, I believe we can learn something. So I decided to share this process because I believe it's going to be a learning process, not only for me who is doing the things, because you do as you improve and as you learn, but also it's going to be a learning process for most of the people who watch the process. So if you want to be a part of this process, I'm going to call upon you again, subscribe and support the cause in any way you can. You can comment, you can ask any questions for things that you not yet understood, how we get to do things. You can also recommend various elements for what you do, which becomes better for us, and I believe for each and every stream we are going to be improving the experience so that you have a better and enriching learning experience as we go through this journey. Remember, one of the most important things when you are building out something, the process is as important as the product. Some people look at the product, but the process of how you get to do it. Let's say if I were doing this and I was not showcasing what I do, and I do it, then there wouldn't be people seeing what I do. But if I get to showcase it, then the process becomes important, because there are people who are learning from the process. By the time we get to the product, at least there is one person, at least there are two people, at least there is hundreds, at least there is thousands of people who have learned something from the process, which makes the process worthwhile. So the process is as important as the product. For me, that is my kind of approach to life. When I'm doing something, the process is as important as the product. So I believe it's going to be an enriching experience. We are getting this error for missing instructions, but let us first of all leave it. What I want is that I want to check first of all these stored itineraries. So let's copy this and paste them here. So I'm getting these when I try to access some pages, I'm getting these errors, but yet when it comes to the earlier version that we had,
Internal climate shifting like a heavy-handed leader. The rain is just a lecture for the thirsty. I manifest the mercy when the sky gets murky. Gravity is a strategy to test my marrow. Keeping the vision focused and the path narrow. I don't bend for the trend or the gale. My skin is like a scale or a suit of mail. The mathematics of the sap rising in the trunk, drowning out the junk in the rhythmic funk.
so I'm getting errors after the refinements that you've made. Yet when it comes to our Firestore rules and Firebase rules,
finding the truth without a steeple. Is a critic, but the roots are a fact. Keeping my integrity and my soul intact. My canopy is wide, catching every vibration. A natural liberation for a tired nation. I calculate the patience in the rings of the wood. Doing what I should, exactly where I stood. Doing what I should, exactly where I stood. No shortcut to the summit of the canopy. The sky is the only thing that can handle me. Ascending past the logic of the common ground. Silent as a seed, making a holy sound. It's the climb through the grime to the light. Keep reaching. Every branch is a prayer for the height. Steady now. Weather in the season till the fruit is ripe. Manifest the essence in the middle of the fight. Just keep growing. Don't mind the storm. It's just wind. The essence is eternal. Peace, manifest, one. I follow my own leg. No be person lead me go. Like water for the mountain.
So let's put in this request because we are getting some errors after the refinement that we made. The rules are okay, but we are getting the errors. So what I'm trying to make is that I'm trying to make refinements that we don't get these errors, and that everything is set out very well.
Uplifting, danceable, electronic rhythm. Them say I no go make 'em, but my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. The fire start to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn for my side. Almost see my levels now.
So let's continue. What I didn't really want to refine were the firestore rules, because earlier these rules were set and I was able to effectively store content. But what I wanted is I wanted to look at the changes that we are making and that we had made previously, and see if we distorted anything with that.
Sweet life every day. No more walking for the dark. We just fly. Everything soft now. Everything safe. Everything
So let's run this and we can review. I think when we made changes, because we wanted to remove the information that was locally stored to only keep info that we had stored on our Firebase, and I think that's where the problem came from. Because our rules were set very well and we were able to test out most of these functionalities as you see them: the costings, the emails, the evaluations, the itinerary reservations, the properties, the tracked trips, and then for the authentication, the users. And these are the rules that we had set for our Firebase, which are solid and quite standard. So I believe when we made changes, something somewhere in the code was distorted, but adding refinements to the rules will also maybe allow us to fix the error that we are getting. So let's run this. I think the agent has added some refinements to the rules, so we are going to update them, but let's wait for it to finish up with the process, then we can review that.
Check the frequency. 1 2 1 2.
So let's look at these new rules, and I'm going to copy them. Let's wait for the completion of the task, then I will update and then we review. It's trying to deploy these rules. I think it's trying to programmatically deploy these rules. That's where the challenge is coming from. So let's wait for that reattempt. If it doesn't, then we are going to change them manually, because the reason as why it's trying to deploy them, it's because we've integrated the Firebase MCP that makes the process much more easier to make refinements and then also make changes to the rules for Firestore and for Firebase storage. But if we are not getting that, I think let's do that manually, because it was not able to update that programmatically using the MCP. At times it happens, so it's okay. We are going to publish them and then we shall review. Let's go here and look at our itineraries. So here we have 6 itineraries. I want to go here and review what we have in terms of itineraries, because 1 2 3 4 5 6, I think it has refined this effectively well, because these were the earlier ones that were entered without the ESU number, and then these ones are the ones that were entered with the ESU number. Also, I want to look at to the itinerary reservations. Let's go here. And look at the reservations. Here we have one that was entered, and when we look at this, let me make a fresh one and review that. So here, this, I'm going to leave it at a new inquiry. Let me leave it there. All these other elements were fetched very well, the way we want them, programmatically. So let's let me create this new booking. So we're getting this error. Let's fix this. So reservation board, okay. So now we are going to make some changes when it comes to the reservation board. When it comes to this reservation screen, it has two elements. It has the board where we are able to enter new bookings. Currently, when it comes to the bookings that are shown, remember for our Firestore, when it comes to this screen, we've not yet set up logic to ensure that the new bookings are stored effectively well. Yes, when it comes to the itinerary reservations, they are done well, which correspond with the itinerary part of the reservations. But when it comes to the board, the functionalities and the rules for setting up the boards have not yet been set up very well. And what I'm viewing is that most of the information of the entries that we have on the board, they are locally stored. So we need to first of all add the right rules to store this information to our Firestore file. And when we are adding these rules, we are not going to distort what we've already set out, and also ensure that we remove these locally stored ones to ensure that what we reflect there is only the entries that have been made and they have been stored in our Firestore in Firebase. Let's make these changes effectively. So let me reference the master prompt. So now what we are going to do, we are going to ensure that this instruction is restructured in the structure that we see in our master prompt that I've referenced. Ensure that it is very detailed and that each and every element is laid out. And also when it comes to the elements that you are not supposed to refine, note them very well in the notes section according to our prompt, and ensure that this implementation plan is solid to allow us to make the required changes. So let's make this. What I've realized is that most of when it comes to the reservations, most of these they are not they are stored locally, so we are going to remove them. And I think we are just going to do it screen by screen, because if you try to do it with a complete code, it's causing errors that are not really good, and they are distorting most of our functionalities that we have. So we shall go screen by screen making these refinements, because we don't have many screens. We have like 8 screens, so it's going to be very easy for us to remove locally stored information and also make other refinements. If you've not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe and follow us, follow the journey, support it. We are on the journey to hit $500,000, and we are going to hit that through the various products that we are working on. So if you want to be a part of the process, please subscribe. So let's make these changes. First of all, we want to make refinements to the rules, because the current rules don't accommodate the information that we are supposed to enter into the reservation board. Remember, our reservation screen has a top tab toggle switcher where you get to view the board, and from the board, that is where you can be able to track the reservations as you are reaching out to clients, and after you confirm them and you've received payments, then you can be able to make reservations for the various items that are related to that trip. And from there, that is so we are going to proceed, because currently what we had, it was a demo data, and that demo data was coming from mostly the seed reservations. So what we want to be able to view the real entries that we've made in terms of this functionality, and from there we can be able to review other elements. If you've not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe, follow the stream, and ensure that you join this journey. It's a journey that we are on. We are working on various mobile apps, but you're also working on different web apps like this one. So follow the journey, ask questions for each project that we work on. We are mostly trying to go through each and every process, from setting up the designs, from the creating logic for the front end, and also working on the back end, as you get to see. So, but we are mostly using vibe coding processes to work on these, which makes the process much more enriching, and also to showcase that these can be done by anyone if they set their minds to it. It's something that is quite doable. It's not complex. Given the available tools that we have, the agentic tools that even get to have the whole picture of your code base, and they get to return whatever you wish to have in terms of the functionalities. So when you subscribe, you're going to be one of the people who's going to keep me accountable for whatever I'm doing, and I can promise you that you're going to hit the 500,000 figure that we anticipate to hit.
Pequeño, dueños del triunfo, dueños del empeño. Se ve tan claro bajo el cielo azul. Todo es victoria, con fuerza arón atrás. Sigue subiendo, no mires jamás. Mi fe es roca, mi aliento es victoria. Dando el
So let's wait for it to complete the process, and then from there we can test out the functionality. So here we had a mock data earlier, so we are not able to. We had a mock data, and we were not able to effectively review this information and get to see that when we make an entry of a new booking, it is successfully stored in our Firebase. Now we are making changes to that, and I believe changes will also be made to our Firestore rules. We shall be able to update that and then test out the functionality. So let's try to make changes, but before we do that, let's make a further inquiry to this. Thank you so much for that refinement. Now I've noticed that you've when it comes to the Firestore rules, you've not added an logic to ensure that our new bookings are stored very well. So we need to add that logic to ensure that these bookings are stored, but also to ensure that we can be able to manage them. That means be able to edit them effectively and make changes to them. So we need to add rules that are going to allow us to make those changes without distorting what we already have in terms of the reservations. So can we update our Firestore rules with that, and then I can test out this functionality.
Red like the battlefield. 12-cylinder engine screaming louder than the voices. I trade my peace for a higher profit margin. Heavy head resting on a silk pillowcase. War scars looking like expensive designer labels. Still winning, managing the chaos like a corporate board meeting. The trauma is just a tax on the crown. Victory tastes like cold iron and vintage wine. The cost of the throne ran brand in the panic into a global empire. Stitch the open wounds with
So let's continue.
medals on the chest of a haunted man. Salute the survivor. The war is quiet, but the rent is high. Built a fortress out of broken glass. No surrender in the middle of the luxury. Never fold. I own a demon. It worked the door at the party. The war never ends. It just gets more expensive. Time to check. We good.
So this is what we have already, but
Waiting this up,
need to ensure that
energy high. All the levels don't change. No be beams, we they fly. We only look at the sky. Burn like fire, no be beams.
so if this information is set out very well, let's
Lift your hand,
create this. Is a new inquiry.
feel the heat,
I want to look at
never stop. Chop life, giant, we don't arrive.
our
Make we come alive.
observations, our Firestore, and check if this entry was successfully recorded.
Money talk, we know they cap. Shake way for heart, we they top. Best say we move fast. Make this feeling always last. Always last. Burn like fire, no be beams. Everything set, we they win. Lift your hands, touch the top. Feel the heat, never stop. Chop life, giant, we
So let me make some changes here, and
long drum, make we come alive. Long drum, make we come alive. Alive, make we come alive. No be play, we be stone.
so let's maybe change it to paid,
King of the street on the throne.
and change it to confirmed.
Higher we go.
It changes very well, but I want to view if these changes are made here.
Everything soft and
Sí. Mantén esa energía justo ahí.
So let's proceed with making these changes as we test out the functionality.
Vamos. Siente la corriente al tocarnos tú y yo. Bajo las estrellas nunca es demasiado urbano. En nuestros pies fluyendo suave, subiendo el calor. Siente la corriente al tocarnos tú y yo. Bajo las estrellas nunca es demasiado el pulso urbano. En nuestros pies fluyendo suave, subiendo el calor. El aire está
So these were
copa. Me gusta cómo me miras al bailar, fijando tu vista, entrando en el ritmo. No hace falta hablar, que el bajo se exprese, buscando la vibra que el mundo desea. Esta es la parte, me acerco a me gusta. Lo que más, sí, me gusta más. Siente la corriente al tocarnos tú y yo. Bajo las estrellas nunca es demasiado urbano, en nuestros pies fluyendo suave, subiendo el calor. Siente la corriente al tocarnos.
so this is the one that fully records it. Well, this is great. I think it is already catered for.
Es solo un rastro blanco, dueños del techo, dueños de la noche. Te ves tan bien bajo la luz plateada. Todo va rápido, pero lo hacemos bien. Olvida esto, miran desde afuera. Sigue la corriente, disfruta el viaje. Mi piel es sal, tu aliento en mi cuello, dándote lo que esperabas. Más alto que la luna, girando en el lugar. No me sueltes más. Aquí somos libres, libres, tan libres. No me sueltes. Siente la corriente al tocarnos tú y yo. Bajo las estrellas nunca es demasiado urbano, en nuestros pies fluyendo suave, subiendo el calor. Siente la corriente al tocarnos tú y yo. Bajo las estrellas nunca se abre el pulso urbano, en nuestros pies fluyendo suave, subiendo el calor. Bajo el cielo, suave, tan suave, sí, la corriente. Sí, mantén esa energía justo ahí. La cima nos espera. Vamos, vamos. Siente el impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer. Siente el impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer. El camino fue duro, pero aquí estamos. Visión clara, lo que tanto buscamos. Me gusta cómo vibra esta realidad. Mirando al frente con seguridad. Buscando la gloria que el mundo envidie. Mis pasos firmes, toco la grandeza. Esta es la meta que tengo en la cabeza. Lo logré, sí.
So some changes were made to these rules.
Impulso de llegar al
Let's accept them.
Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer.
And copy them.
Impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer. Abajo todo es solo un punto pequeño.
Make changes here.
Dueños del empeño, se ve tan claro bajo el cielo azul. Todo es victoria con fuerza y virtud. Olvida los miedos, quedaron atrás. Mi fe es roca, mi aliento es victoria. Dando el máximo, entrando en la historia.
So let's continue.
Nuestra la historia, más alto que el sol. Ganando el lugar, no me detendré. Aquí somos libres, tan libres, no me detengas. Siente el impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que
So let's make some changes here. So let's go here. Now that we've made the updates, let's go here. And we make a new entry. So let's make this entry. And I want to look at it. So this is the new inquiry. That means that the entries are made very well. So let me try to start the trip here. Start trip, and I want to go here to the tracking screen.
Lead me go like water for the mountain, see aside it flow, the fire start to burn deep inside.
So this is
the table start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels now. Joy come like morning sun, yeah. We the chop life every day, yeah.
The trip that is being tracked.
Them say I no go make am, but my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. The fire start to burn deep inside. The table start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels now. Joy come
So
like
when it comes to these activities, yes, it is showing the activity timeline. The logic for the time is set up very well, but what has not been set up is logic for the dates. So we need to ensure that
no more walking for the dark. We just a fly.
now when it comes to the tracking screen, particularly the activity timeline card, I think we are going to further make refinements to the logic to ensure that it's when it comes to that particular tract itinerary, we need to recognize, and we need the activity timeline needs to be able to recognize the current date. If today is the third, rather the 18th of March 2026, then the activities or the day, the particular day that is tracked should be the day that is attached to this particular date based on the dates that were stored for that itinerary, which information is already stored with the itinerary when this itinerary is stored in Firestore. We need to reference to that so that when it comes to the activity timeline, what we get to see tracked is that particular day. I believe the rest of the tracking functionalities are set out very well. We are only going to fix logic for ensuring that we are the right kind of day is the one that is being tracked. As a senior engineer, I want you to look at the structure of this request and restructure it based on the master prompt structure from the master prompt file that I've referenced, and ensure that you give me a very detailed and comprehensive implementation plan that I can work with. I will look at it and then I will approve it so that we go on to make these changes. And ensure that when you're making these changes, you're not going to distort any other functionality that we've set out on the tracking screens. And for the complete context of our app, we are only going to ensure that this functionality is set up very well. So we track the various activities for a particular safari after the itinerary has been made, but we are refining this because the days apparently are not being captured very well. So what we want to ensure that the right kind of day is captured. This itinerary starts from the 16th to the 22nd of March, and what we are capturing is to ensure that the right day is being tracked. So if you love the content that we put, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe as you get to see us do this. So waiting for that implementation plan. I will approve it and then we proceed. I want to get the implementation plan, approve it, and then we continue with this refinement and see how it unfolds. Let's look at it. It's looking at the whole context of our code base, and what we want to be able to track the right kind of day based on the right date that was recorded to that itinerary when the itineraries are stored. So we are going to set that up very well, and then we shall review it. So this is what we have in terms of our tracking tool. But it's not it's tracking very well in terms of time, but when it comes to the right dates, it's not really tracking it very well. So we are trying to ensure that the dates that the tracking screen fully gets to pick up logic for the dates. So let's look at the implementation plan. So let's remove this. Let's find something. So now when it comes to this implementation plan, that means that the activity timeline, I want you to add that the activity timeline is going to have the same kind of display. All the other days will be displayed. If let's say this itinerary had already started off and some days were already passed, then the past days, as the logic is already set up, they are going to be marked as tracked. And then this particular day, the current day, is going to be showing how those activities are playing out and the current ticker for those activities. And then also the other upcoming days will also be shown. So we are only changing the element of the rest of the elements, the appearance of the layout of the activity card is going to stay the same. So add that to the implementation plan and ensure that you make each detail of what we requested earlier and what I'm adding extensively explained in our implementation plan. Ensure that you make it comprehensive so that each and everything is covered, and so that we get to accomplish working on this feature without distorting other functionalities that are already set out. So let's work on that and review it. If you've not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream, and you get to watch us in action as we vibe code these apps. Our goal is to hit $500,000 from the various apps that we are working on. So if you want to be a part of this journey, please subscribe. It's a learning journey. The process is also as important as the product. The final goal is to hit that figure, but along the way we are going to learn lots of things: how we vibe code, how we can be able to deal with the complexity of building out functionalities for the various mobile apps and the web apps that we are dealing with. So if you want to view this process play out in real time, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe and ensure that each and everything is set out very well. So let's proceed to refine this. Let's look at these refinements. We're going to review them after our coding agent has finished to make those refinements. Remember, what we are doing, we want to ensure that the right kind of day is being tracked. So recognition for the day is important, because when you're tracking anything and then you are setting up logic for it to track the date and the particular time, then you need to have allocation for the day, the current date, and also allocation for the time. The logic for the time has been set out very well, but again, the logic for the current date wasn't really picking up when it came to the activity tracker card on the itinerary, the itinerary tracking screen. So we are setting that up very, very well, and we shall be able to review it and ensure that these changes are checked out well. So if you love the process, if you want to be a part of a community that is really geared to learning, and also if you want to hold me accountable in the process of reaching $500,000 only by the use of vibe coding to build apps that are profitable and apps that are really advantageous to people, then you can subscribe to the stream and follow along. So what you're waiting, we're waiting for that refinement to be made, and then we can be able to review it. At times Google anti-gravity based on the agent that you're using takes up some time, but I believe it's always good, because it's looking at the whole code base and it's trying to ensure that all the functionalities, because remember, when you're refining a certain functionality, at times that functionality is linked to over 3 code snippets or components that you already have in your app. So it looks at the whole context of that and ensure that it's refining exactly that, and also ensure that the code itself is structured out in the right way to give you a proper response of what you can look at. So it takes up sometimes on several tasks, which is okay. It's okay, because as long as it gets executed the way you want it, that is the most important thing. That is what we look at as the most important thing. So it's revisiting the logic. The agentic kind of coding gives us a flexibility to look into
Keeping it 100 till the tank hits zero. I'm a veteran of the struggle. strike. We just riding. It's a long road, but the seats are leather. Pressure makes diamonds. I'm just holding away.
I think it has set it out very well.
Pressure makes diamonds. I'm just holding away. Smooth as the wax on a Sunday morning. We don't rush the wind. We just wait for it.
What you are going to remove is the scroll indicator.
Just keep it pushing, slow and steady.
I think the scroll indicator is not necessary. We are going to remove that.
Stay patient while they was racing, still cruising.
But let's wait for. For it to finish up. The logic was set, it has finished up. So I'm going to just make a very small refinement. So thank you for making the changes that you've made. So what we are going to do, we are going to just ensure that we hide the scroll indicator for the activity card. Amata. So let's refine this and ensure that everything is quite organized the way we want. All the elements that we have, we are not going to make more refinements to them. We are just going to refine and hide the scroll indicator for the activity card. Also, when it comes to the coming soon cards that we have on the activity card, the background of that card, we are going to make it a black. We're going to turn that background of the card to black, and then the text is going to remain white, which will make them quite much more viewable and identifiable. So let's make this change.
Yeah. Keep that energy right there. Just you and the
So this is quite blurry. So for the coming soon, let's turn them to black.
under the stars and never is too much. City pulses beating our feet, moving so smooth, turning up the heat. Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars and never is too much. City pulses beating our feet, moving so smooth, turning up the heat. The air is cool, but we are burning up. Expensive silk, I'm drinking from your cup. I like the way you watch me when I move. Locking your eyes, getting in the groove. No need to talk, just let the baseline speak. Finding the vibe that everybody seeks. Your hands are low, I'm leaning in so close. This is the part that I love the
Changes.
most. Feel the part that I love the most. Feel the part that I love the most. Yeah, I love it most. Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars and never is too much. City pulses beating our feet, moving so smooth, turning up the heat. Feel the current when our bodies touch.
So let's wait for
Still watching from the side. Hop in the flow, enjoy the crazy ride. My skin is salt, your breath is on my neck. Giving you more than you could ever expect.
so let's copy this.
What you expect? Higher than the moon. Spinning in the room. Don't let go of me.
Let's copy these errors.
Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars, it never is too much. City pulses beating our feet.
Let's copy them and
Turning up the heat. Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars, it never is too much. City pulses beating our feet. Moving so smooth, turning up the heat. Just like that. Under the sky. Keep it moving. Smooth.
I think it is still making this refinement, so let's wait for it to play out and we shall review. For the ones who have just joined, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream. We are on our journey to hit $500,000 with only vibe coded apps. This is one of the apps that we've already received payment for, and I believe as we continue to make refinements to it, we shall keep on improving it until when it is fully launched. We are also already in the pipeline to launch an educational app that is going to help students to get access to personalized quizzes, but also at the same time be able to get answers for any questions that they might have. So if you want to be part of this journey, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe, and I believe that each and every experience and every new stream is going to be different and beneficial for you when you subscribe. So let's wait for the agent to make these refinements, because currently we still have certain problems that have not yet been sorted out in regards to the refinements that we've made. So let's wait for that and then review. So let's review them and we shall continue.
My canopy is wide, catching every vibration, a natural liberation for a tired nation. I calculate the patience in the rings of the wood, doing what I should, exactly where I stood. No shortcuts to the summit of the canopy. The sky is the only thing that can handle me.
So let's click to this one.
Silent as a seed, making a holy sound. It's the climb through the grime to the light.
So it has made the change, but what we wanted, we just wanted the text card, which is the coming soon, but we shall going to refine that.
Manifest the essence in the middle of the fight. Just keep growing. Don't mind the storm. It's just water. It's just wind. The essence is eternal. Peace. Peace. Manifest. One. I follow my own life. Love it person lead me go.
So it has finished.
Like water for the
Oh,
mountain.
let's
See outside the flow.
accept these changes.
The fire start to burn deep inside.
So, and we put the request. When you are making changes to the background color of the card, you made changes to the activity, that particular activity card. What I wanted, it was the text card. Remember, for these upcoming events, they have a text attached to it, which is the So what I wanted you to change in the previous refinement that you made was the background color of just this text card, not the whole card. So can you revert the changes that you've made in the previous refinement and ensure that it is only the background of the text. So the text card, the background of the text card is what should only be changed to use a black color.
Energetic percussion and melodic house chords.
So let's make that further refinement.
Under my festival energy, I find my way. Sweet life every day, no more walking for the dark. We just fly, everything's up now, everything's said. I follow my own land. No be person leave me go. Like water for the mountain. See as I did flow.
So let it make the necessary refinements that we shall
Fire start to burn deep inside.
look at it.
The tables start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels now. Joy come like morning sun. Yeah. We the chop life every day. My race I don't win now. Yeah. Them say I no go make am, but my spirit ever strong. I carry my own load. Now I know where I belong. The fire started to burn deep inside. The tables start to turn for my side. I'ma see my levels now. Joy come like morning.
So let's continue to make that refinement and then
Chop life every day.
we shall review.
Race I don't win now. Yeah. I find my way. Sweet life every day. No more walking for the dark. We just fly. Everything's soft now. Everything's said. Everything's
It's getting the whole context of the app. We just want to make some little refinement there and then we can proceed.
step in the place, energy high.
To look at the rest of the elements.
Levels don't change. No more looking back at ground. We only look at the sky. Burn like a flame, stay bright. Everything clear, we see light. Lift your hands, touch the top. Feel the heat, never stop. Chop life, we don't arrive. Log drum, make we come alive. Whoa!
So it has finished this refinement. Let's go and look at it.
Money talk, we know they speak. We find a fire, we seek.
I think we have some errors. But they have been cleared. So let's go here. And look at this screen.
Nothing break us, we be stone. King of the night on the throne. Higher, 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 we dey go. Chop life, we done arrive. Love drum.
Yeah, I think it got it right. So for these activities, what we wanted to have the coming sooner element laid out very well in black color. It nailed it, which is just perfect, the way we wanted it. So I think we are going to change these elements, the quick actions, because they don't relate with our app. We're going to change them, and we use elements that relate to our app, and they'll be linking to our various screens. So let's make that refinement. Now when it comes to the quick actions screen, what you're going to do, we are going to ensure that currently there are certain elements. There are like 4 elements. We are going to replace them with itineraries, emails, costings, and then reservations. So let's replace the current elements and texts in the quick actions cards with those ones, and we need to ensure that those elements are linked to our real screens in our app, so that when someone clicks on them, they are redirected to the accommodation screen. If they click on the accommodation, if they click on the reservation, they're redirected to the reservation screen. If they click on the itinerary, they're redirected to the itinerary screen. And when they click on the emails, they can be redirected to the email screen.
Step in the place, energy high. All more the levels don't change. No more looking back at ground. We only look at the sky. Burn like a flame, stay bright. Everything clear, we see light.
So let's make that change, and then because currently these quick actions do not relate to information that we have in our app, so we are going to change those. So let's wait for those changes to be made, and then we can review them. For the people who have not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream. We are currently making final changes to our app. We are integrating the back end. Logic is working, and also that the information that we are adding to our app is stored effectively in our Firebase backend that we've set out for this app. We've already worked on authentication. That is the sign up and the login of the users. We've also worked on the storage of the emails using Firebase storage for various emails that we have. Remember, the email components that we have in our app, it is mostly to be able to upload a profile image or change it, but also upload different images to upload very different images to add them to the itineraries that you're making on a daily basis when it comes to each day. Also, we are storing images for the accommodations, but also for the reservations, there are certain documentations like receipts and everything that we get to store. So I've also included logic to store those. So I think we are also going to add one screen which is called the workboard, but I'm going to give instructions for that after we complete each and everything that has been set out. So let's continue and look at these changes that were made. So the changes that we wanted There are just a few elements here for the accommodation and for the travel. I think logic has been added for the emails, itineraries, costings, and reservations and accommodations. Let's add logic for the evaluations besides the accommodation to make them 6.
Sonido de estática de vinilo y un bombo pesado. Sí, es el momento.
So thanks for adding this. Besides the accommodation, the row that houses the accommodation, we are going to add the evaluations to ensure that there are 6 elements. So that means we are going to add the evaluations tab just besides the accommodation in the accommodations row to make them 6 and ensure that when we click on it, it's just like the others, it redirects us to the evaluations screen. So let's further make some little refinements. And someone asked, how am I going to handle payments? When it comes to payments, when it comes to my location, I'm just going to use Whoop. Whoop is good because they have integrated to their element a payment API that is similar to what Stripe has, because when it comes to various locations, it becomes quite hard to integrate Stripe, because other countries are not eligible. Also, my country is not eligible for Stripe, but Whoop is has set up payments. We can look at it here. So let me so let's go here to Whoop and shall get a glimpse of what I'm talking about. So yes, with Whoop you can be able to set up your own shop there, but also they have an API. They have an API where you can be able to integrate your own website into their platform, and you can be able to track payments, receive payments, and track them from there. So I believe Whoop is a very good platform, and to me it's much more better. So it's free to start. You can be able to integrate your own platform, or maybe if you want you can get listed on their marketplace as you want. But for me, the purposes for which I can be able to use Whoop, it is by receiving global. You see, you can be able to receive global payments, which makes it quite the right choice when it comes to payments. So I'm going to integrate Whoop with the payments.
Waiting this up, energy high. All the levels don't change. No be beans, we dey fly. We only look at the sky. Burn like fire, no be beans. Everything set, we dey win. Lift your hands, touch the top. Feel the heat, never stop.
So let's continue. And load our app. So I think for the payments I've explained it. I'm going to use Whoop because Whoop is really good. From various countries you can be able to integrate it into your app and receive payments, and also the integration is very fast, it's very quick. As long as you get access to the documentation, you can get that documentation and you can save it up in your file. Given that we are working with an agentic IDE, then it can look at that documentation and then give you the systematic way of the elements that you're supposed to set up in Whoop and the other elements that you are supposed to set up in your app, that you're going for the elements that you're picking from Whoop, which is quite standard. So what we are working on, we were linking these elements, the quick actions. Given that we have these screens here, what we were linking these screens here, so that when someone, it becomes quite easy to be redirected, but also on this screen. So for these screens, we've made very many refinements. Some of them were to ensure that we fix this tracker, the tracker for the elements. For the activities that are completed, they show completed. For the one that is live, it is showing live based on the time. And then for the one that is coming soon, it is showing coming soon. So you see these ones are linked very well. Because I was testing out on this screen, they are linked very well. They are linked very well, so you can look at the coming activities. And we've also fixed logic for the day. So now this day, when we look at day 3, we only have one activity, but it's linked to the time. So when that time is still in play, let's say you don't have any other new activity, it becomes quite difficult to show. But let's go back to the itineraries here and add in some other activities for that particular day, because today is 18th. So let's pick that particular. Itinerary, which is which is starting on the 16th. Let's look at this. So, yeah, this is the itinerary. So this is the particular day today. It has one activity, so we can add some other activities. Let's say at 8:60. So let's add let's add some other activity and call it maybe breakfast. Let's add another one. Call it a game drive. Let's make these changes. I want to go back here, review if these elements have been added. Yes, they were added, but an update was not made. So let's fix that here, because it's very important. If people get to make updates on particular itineraries, then the activities need to be populated. The update activities need to be added on the activity timeline. So now I was testing out. I added new activities and I refined a particular itinerary. But when I reviewed, after making that refinement, when I reviewed the activity timeline, those new activities were not shown. So we need to ensure that when it comes to the itinerary, for this particular tracking screen where we reference the itinerary, we need to ensure that if a user makes updates to these activities, then the updated version of the itinerary should be shown. And when it comes to the activities and the updated information on the activity timeline in the tracking screen. So that is very important. We need to fix that. So let's first of all refresh the master prompt. Now you're going to restructure this instruction using the master prompt and ensure that our instruction is structured very well according to the structure that we have in that master prompt that I've referenced. And after you've completed the layout in the implementation plan, I will approve and then we make these changes. The reason as to why I'm using the implementation plan is because the implementation plan that we have, rather the master prompt that we have, is already laid out. It has different areas like the tasks which is what you that particular functionality that you want to work on, or the feature that you want to work on. Then the context, it has the huge layout of the context of the whole app based on our logic that we have in our app. Then when you go below, it has the requests, how you're going to refine it. Then under the note, you're going to have things like constraints. What particular elements don't you want the agent to change when it is making this refinement? And then it has the persona, how you want the agent to behave. It also has the tone, if you want it to be to work on this in a casual way or in a professional way. So it is a huge and detailed layout that I use. So what I do, I give instructions the way I give them, then I refine these instructions into that structured way, and then I approve that plan, so it becomes easier for the agent to understand how I work, and in that context it gives me it gets to effectively deal with the functionalities that I want and handle them, and handle those particular code snippets in my, or code components in my code base the way I want it to handle them, which is a better way, instead of just giving a generic instruction and then I start to make refinements. That means if you give generic instructions, it's going to be difficult for you to handle the right kind of functionalities, and it's going to be quite disturbing. But when you're using this kind of prompt, it becomes easy, so that if you make changes and you give the instructions, and then you structure them in the very same way, you have a systematic structure, then that systematic structure helps you to, first of all, cut down on the number of refinements you would have made, but also the approach that you're using, it's of a senior engineer who might approach any other code base in any in a standardized way, which is very good and important compared to the so let's proceed with this. So let's proceed. So that we make these changes effectively well. For the people who have not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream. In that way, you are supporting this journey. But also, when you subscribe, then as the community grows, I also continue to make refinements in how we get to carry out these streams, how we get to learn throughout the process, because I believe the process is much more important as the product. And what our desire is, it is to ensure that we can be able to hit our desired goal of vibe coding apps until when we hit $500,000. And how we hit that, it is by continuing to grow this community. We get to learn in the process, but most importantly, as the community grows, it keeps me more accountable to be able to go all the way to hit that figure with only vibe coded apps. And I assure you that I'm going to be updating each and every experience for each and every day, so that you can effectively get the most out of the vibe coding process, because the process teaches me as I'm on the journey, but it also teaches you the different kinds of approaches that you can use as you're working on your own products. And as we get to the end product, which is building out these products and pushing them to clients and getting revenue of over $5,000, we've benefited in the process. So if you want to truly benefit and get to learn how I vibe code and also keep me accountable and also get to view this result at the end when we finish and hit that goal, please subscribe. So we are looking at what has been refined. It is finishing up with a walkthrough. So what I'm going to refresh this screen. And then we can review. So let's review these changes by looking at the various So currently the changes were made, but we are still viewing the previous one. So let's look at it here. So these changes were not effected. Let's first of all, I want to check if these changes are made here, have been saved. So let's finalize this. So I think I had to finalize it. The other time I wasn't able to finalize. Let's look at it. Let's look at the tracking screen. So this is what we have. The changes were effected very well, which is quite amazing. So this is what we have as the next activity, which is I've set it just a few minutes to the current time, which is just 2 minutes to the current time. We should show next. Then the other activity that is there is going to be showing coming soon, which is a very good practice. So that means when we make updates, these are also shown. So that is one of the elements that I wanted to view here, because it is very important to know that you've set out these ones very well. Now we are going to add another screen. It's going to be below the accommodations. We are going to add another screen. We're going to call it workboard. But before we do that, I wanted us to first of all wait for this ticker to, okay, the next activity is breakfast. So we are going to change if it changes. Let's give instructions here as we wait for that. Subscribe and join this journey. It's going to be a beautiful journey. In the process, we are going to learn how we can be able to vibe code these apps just in the most simplest ways, but also we are striving to create products that we are going to launch and effectively earn funds from it to the accumulation of $500,000. And I believe that can be doable with the different mobile apps and web apps that I'm working on here. So if you want to follow this journey, if you want to be a part of it, if you want to learn in the process, if you want to share anything based on how you vibe code, please follow the channel, and also hit the like button for this video and the notification bell so that you can get subsequent streams that are coming. So let's work. So we are going to create a new screen. And we are going to call it workboard. So you are going to place it just below the reservation screen, in between the reservation screens and the accommodation screen. So this is how the workboard is going to work. Given that we've already set up authentication, the workboard is going to allow us to track how various employees who use this platform perform. So this is how it's going to work. We are going to include these various elements. It's going to have a tab switcher at the top, and the first screen that is going to have on that tab, it is going to have the board. And for the other elements that's going to have on that tab, it's going to have the element for the analytics. So for each employee, when they log in, they are going to access this board, and they're going to be able to enter in 3 main daily activities. So with these activities, what we are going to track, we are going to track the activity, and then we are going to have a simple a column for the activity, name of the activity, and then we are also going to have a column for the description of that activity, and we are also going to have a column for the time spent when someone is doing that activity, and that means this is going to include a timer. So when they are working on a certain activity, they need to time how much time they spent when they are working on this activity. And then the other column is going to be the evidence column. And with this column, we are going to have 2 elements. When someone can either upload what they have worked on, if it is not associated to this very platform, but if it is associated with the platform, they can add a link. Of what they have done, and then when we click on that link, we can be able to review what they did in this very platform. So that is what we are going to have when it comes to the board of each employee. So that means for the main activities, there are going to be only 3 slots And then for the additional activities, if they worked on other additional things during the day, we are also going to add them. So these are all these activities are going to be tied to a calendar. So that means that before a user gets to start off with any activity, they have to select that current date that they are working on and they enter those activities. But also for the coming days, days that are coming, they can be able to enter other activities that are for the coming days. And then when that particular date, the current date is arrives, then they can be able to attempt the activities. So we are going to use it as an element to track the current activities, but also as a planner. They can add in other activities for up to 7 days up front. Now, when it comes to the tab switcher and the other side of the tab, which is the analytics, the analytics is going to show analytics of how this employee is performing during that month, how many activities have they completed, how much time have they spent on those activities. So it's basically just going to show analytics of that particular user. So that means each user will be able to only view activities that are attached to them. So let's refresh the master prompt. Create a comprehensive plan for this feature and ensure that you follow the structure for the referenced master prompt. I will review it and then we proceed to build out this feature. So I'm going to add another feature for the employees because we want to be able to track what the employees are doing. When they are doing something, we need to track that. So we are going to add that only feature, given that now we've already made integrations for Firebase. It's going to be very easy to track what they are doing on each and every day. So let's continue to add this feature. So we want to be able to track what they are doing, and we gave a very detailed prompt. So we are waiting for our agent to give us that implementation plan, then we execute it, and then we review what we've done in that sense.
Energetic percussion and melodic house chords.
So let's wait for that workboard implementation plan, and then we shall execute that. So this is our implementation plan. We already have it.
Custom armor hidden under the ostrich skin coat. Front lines in the lobby of the Plaza Hotel. Mental state like
So it's going to set it up, and it's also going to update our Firestore rules to ensure that these are stored very well, and that someone can be able to read and update their activities as to how they attempted it.
a massacre happened in the master suite.
So let's wait for this to be done, and then we can be able to review
Scars looking like expensive designer
it.
labels.
For most of these other functionalities, we've worked on them. They are done.
The trauma is just a tax on the crown.
So we are adding the workboard,
Iron and vintage wine.
which is important.
Cost of the throne. Sipping aged scotch to drown the sirens. Body count is high in the mental ledger. Check the math. Check the math. Cook the bitterness in a copper pot. Serve it cold to the ghosts in the cellar. Every nightmare bought a new acre of land. Iron in the blood, but platinum on the neck. Heavyweight. Interior is red like the battlefield. 12-cylinder engine screaming louder than the voices. I trade my peace for a higher profit margin. Heavy head resting on a silk pillowcase. War scars looking like expensive designer labels. Still winning. Managing the chaos like a corporate board meeting. The trauma is just a tax on the crown. Victory tastes like cold iron and vintage wine. The cost of the throne. Reinventing the panic into a global empire. Stitch the open wounds with pure gold thread. Medals on the chest of a haunted man. Salute the survivor. The war is quiet. Built the fortress out of broken glass. No surrender in the middle of the luxury. Never fold. I own the demons. They used to own me. Now they work the door at the party. The war never ends. It just gets more expensive. Sign the check. We good.
So continue. So I think it has set everything out, because we wanted a very new workboard screen, and for that screen we wanted to ensure that
Keep that energy right there. Just you and the sky. Let's go.
someone can
Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the
can track their activities.
much. City pulses beating in our feet. Moving so smooth, turning up the heat.
So I think
Bodies touch. Under the stars and never is too much. City pulses beating
let's wait for the compilation, and then we are we're going to review that new feature.
Expensive silk, I'm drinking from your cup. I like the way you watch me when I move. Locking your eyes, getting in the groove. No need to talk, just let the baseline speak. Finding the vibe that everybody seeks. Your hands are low, I'm leaning in so close. This is the part that I love the most, the most. Yeah, I love it most. Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars, it never is too much. City pulses beating in our feet. Moving so smooth, turning up the heat. Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars, it never is too much. City pulses beating in our feet. Moving so smooth, turning up the heat. The view below is just a blur of white. We on the roof, we on the whole damn night. You look so good in the silver light. Everything stands, but we are doing it right. Forget the rest, they're watching from the side. Hop in the flow, enjoy the crazy ride. My skin is salt, your breath is on my neck. Giving you more than you could ever expect. Higher than the moon, spinning in the room. Don't let go of me. This is where we're free. Don't breathe, let go. Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars,
So
there is too much.
let's look at our workboard.
Moving so smooth,
It has already been created. So here is the sample of our analytics.
feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars,
So let me try to add
speeding in our feet. Moving so smooth, turning up the heat.
an activity here.
Under the sky, keep it moving smooth.
And maybe say, so when I try to make that, I'm getting this particular error. So that's fine. At least we can be able to view this error. The screen was created, but we received some errors. So let's take them back here.
I found that old photograph in a shoebox. The edge of
And refine, but I think it's still working up.
but I see the way you were looking at me. We were just kids trying to build a kingdom.
It is also making updates to the Firestore security rules. So let's wait for that update. Then I'll be able to review everything very well.
Trade a single heavy day for a lifetime of easy grace. I still feel the way you held me, like a soft fire against the winter sky. We had to let it go to find our soul. Now I see beauty in the things we knew. Just a simple magic take a love you. You taught me how to take a breath when the world felt like it was closing in. We walked through the seasons hand in hand, learning that growth is a quiet kind of
Yeah, I think the Firestore has been updated. I can view it here.
become but I see your
So it's still making some updates. Let's be patient, wait for these updates, and ensure that they are set up. For the people who have not yet subscribed to the stream, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe and join this journey. It's an amazing journey. We are on a journey to hit $500,000 just from vibe coded apps, and we are finalizing on one of these platform that was given to us in terms of a contract to execute, and it's a paid contract for which we've already received funds. So if you love the content that we do, I just wanted to showcase that you can be able to create various platforms with the use of vibe coding skills, and you can effectively launch them, and they can make. And for the mobile apps that we are working on, we are going to launch them for ourselves, and we are going to launch marketing campaigns for them to reach out to clients. So if you want to be a part of this process, because I believe that the journey itself is also as important as the product. The product is that we are looking to build certain mobile apps and also work on various web apps, and our goal is to ensure that we reach out to users to hit a revenue of $500,000. But also the process, it is the process of building itself, which is also an educative process where you get to learn lots of things. So if you want to be a part of the process and you want to learn and you want to enrich yourself, also you want to share what you do when you're vibe coding, I'm going to call upon you to please join our community, because the process enriches us much more better. When we are going through the process, you get to learn much more than you would have learned from the product. Let's say if I was just able to do this maybe in one day and reach this figure of $500,000 just in one day, then there wouldn't be any learning lessons. But along the way, what you learn, it becomes actually much more important than the product itself. So if you want to be a part of the process, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream as we get to build out these various elements. Now, what you're working on, we had some earlier errors, but I think they're being sorted out. We are going to look at those. Also, I've identified that we have this error that is quite here. It's persistent. So after that error has been solved, we are also going to solve this. And then after that, we can be able to review the workboard functionality. The workboard is a new page that we've added. We want to be able to track what each employee does. So when they log out, they're going to access their dashboard. They're also going to access their analytics in terms of how they are performing. But I think when it comes to because currently we only have one kind of a user who is logging in. When it comes to the administrators who log in, for them we are going to give them an upgraded level of access to the platform. For them, they are going to be able to access analytics of whole. Their kind of analytics tool is going to be different. It's going to look at mostly what other employees are doing when they are using the platform. So for the admins, they are going to have an upgraded access and an upgraded kind of analytics to be able to rate these employees, how they are performing. And they will be able to view all tasks done by all employees on each day. So they will be able to click and choose an employee, and then these tasks will be populated for that particular employee, and then they can review what they did. If they uploaded some documents, what did they upload? They can go through them and review that, which makes it a better way to approach everything. So let's wait for that refinement to be made. If you've not yet join the community, and then keep me accountable to what I'm doing. And I know the process is going to be even much more better, much more enjoyable as we go along. So let's wait for that refinement to be made, and then I will review what is being done. It's taking some time, but I believe it's worth it to be able to resolve all these errors so that we can test out. What I want to test out is mostly these features and how they have been updated. And with that, I think I'm going to first of all update these rules So we've added functionality for the workboard. Let's first of all copy these rules. And load Firebase. I'm going to update these rules because the current rules that we have, Firestore rules, don't have logic that accommodates the creation of activities and saving them up. So we are going to update that, and after I update that, then I will we can be able to review the changes. So let's save this. So our files or setup for the rules keeps on enlarging based on the functionalities that we have. So let's go here. Now that we've saved the rules, I see we still have this issue. Let's copy it and go back here. Let's put in a request to refine this. Refine this error without distorting our set logic on this screen. And on other screens. So let's just refine this logic and we look at what we've done. Because we set up a workboard, a screen where we can be able to track what is being done by a particular employee, which is quite important. It's important for you to look at what an employee does and being able to track what they accomplish with time. So if the information is stored, then you can even go back throughout the month and you track what they have done throughout the month, which becomes quite important. So we need to add that into that platform so that the management of the other activities is okay. We've already set that up, but also to manage how the employees are doing and how they are progressing in terms of their work also. It is something that is advantageous. The entity that paid us for this platform, they have requested for us to add that feature. So we are adding that feature in terms of how they want it to look. So the employers will be able to review what is done by each employee, but for the employee, when they log in, they are just going to be able to view what they have done on that particular day. But they can also track back what they did on the earlier days because the information will be stored and they can be able to review that. So this is a tool. I think it's making updates.
The calendar is just a circle of survival. Each fallen leaf marks a brand new arrival. I shed the ego like the bark on the birch, finding the truth without a steeple or a church. The wind is a critic, but the roots are a fact. Keeping my integrity and my soul intact. My canopy is wide, catching every.
So let's also resolve this error.
patience in the rings of the wood. Doing what I should,
we made
doing what I should.
refinements to the
Shortcuts to the summit of the canopy.
to the fire store rules, but the fire store rules to add logic for the work workboard, but we are still
Manifest the essence in the middle of the fight. Just keep growing.
getting this next JS error. Resolve it as senior engineer without distorting our logic.
Un bajo profundo y palpitante entra con un ritmo de latido
So let's
clásico y un cencerro energético.
first of all resolve this. It is present, but I don't know why it is there. Let's try to maybe add a new activity. Let's say
La cima nos espera.
procure
El impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer.
procure permits.
El impulso de llegar
Oh, 18 clients.
subiendo fuerte, nada que temer. El camino fue duro, pero aquí está.
This task includes
Lo que tanto buscamos.
purchasing
Me gusta cómo vibra esta realidad.
gorilla
Mirando al frente.
permits for clients.
Duda que el ritmo nos guíe. Buscando la gloria que el mundo envidie. Mis pasos firmes.
So we are just going to
Es la meta que tengo en la cabeza. Lo logré. Si lo logré ya.
add that,
Si lo logré ya.
and you click on the tracker.
El impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde. Siente el impulso de llegar al final.
So the timer is working very well.
El éxito es real. El fuego interno
I'm also going to test
subiendo fuerte, nada que temer.
so this there are two elements. You are either going to add a link
Pequeño, dueños del triunfo, dueños del empeño. Se ve tan claro bajo el cielo azul. Todo es victoria, con fuerza arón atrás.
or you can
Sigue subiendo, no mires jamás. Mi fe es
you can add maybe an image. Let's
como entrando en la historia.
go in these Safari images, and maybe we just pick one image for demonstration purposes.
Solo quedan la
But here we'll be adding something like a receipt.
toque, más alto que el sol.
So let's
No me detendré.
try to add that.
Tan libres, no me detengas. El ritmo baja, los sintetizadores se desvanecen.
So it could not add that. That means we need to refine that
Tan fuerte.
functionality. So let's go here